Hello, my name is Chris MacArthur. I'm a Senior Manager in the Department of Developmental Services, Central Office Operations Unit. The purpose of this video is to provide an introduction to a new standardized staffing template that all DDS area offices and regional offices will be asking our contracted residential providers to complete in return. As the adult long-term residential, or ALTR rates, are being updated effective July 1st, 2018, we thought it made sense to get updated staffing information for all of the ALTR contracts that DDS has. This will enable DDS to have the most up-to-date information on the staffing needs of each home. Please complete and return the staffing templates to your area office contact by the date requested. Now on to a brief video on how the staffing template should be completed. The program will actually be the program address for this particular site. If you note down below, there is up to 60 sites that you can report staffing patterns and schedules to. For this particular site, let's just give an example. Program capacity is the number of beds available at this residential site. I'll use 4 as an example. And you'll note that the bed days auto-populated. There's a formula right now that says 347 times the program capacity. If you are purchasing less than the full amount of beds, for example, if it's shared with another program, we want you to report in here the number of beds that are being purchased by DDS. For example, if DDS is purchasing 3 of the 4 beds here, the annual purchase units would be 347 times 3, which is a total of 1041 per year. And you can just type that into this box here. The number of hours on this schedule are the negotiated staffing coverage hours, negotiated with your local area office. As we move into the staffing schedule, the first 2 columns are very important. The status of position reflects the type of staffing resources being identified in the row. Your choices are direct care, add-on, management, temporary. Direct care is your regularly scheduled staffing that provide direct support coverage. Add-on would be agreed upon additional supports that are needed in the home. These staff might not be providing direct coverage. Speak with your local area office if you're unclear about staff in this category. Management includes residential directors, direct care supervisors, and may include nursing supervisory staff. Temporary is used to capture a temporary staffing increase that has been allocated for the site. For example, if an individual is unable to temporarily attend their day program, you might need to increase staffing supports during the weekdays. For this example, we're going to pick direct care. Position title: direct care, LPN, RN, clinician, psychologist, which is PhD or doctorate level, DC1, which is direct care level 1, DC2, which is direct care level 2, and lastly, the house manager. For this example, I'm going to use direct care. Always starts with the in time. These boxes have been formatted to standard time. So when you type in a number, 7, it's important to make sure you have a space. You can type in AM or just the letter A if it's in the morning, and the format will automatically register. 3 space PM. If you don't put a space in, like that, note down here that this becomes blank. It won't be able to calculate because this is actually reflective of an error somewhere on the row. In this case, there is no space between the 7 and the letter A. If this is a standard time frame or a standard scheduled support time for direct care, you can always copy and make it more expedient, type it across the board. And you'll notice that the total of 56 hours a week from 7 to 3, you have 1.4 full-time equivalents covering this shift. If you happen to have 2 people at this time, you can always copy and paste it in that way. And if they are direct care and direct care, that will show that from 7 to 3, Monday through Sunday, you have 2 direct care staff members working from 7 to 3. Now this second position might be an LPN, in which case you would just select direct care, LPN. And you'll have here a total of basically a 50% LPN staffing and 50% of direct care staffing. And because these positions are direct care, the total DC or total direct care staffing is here, and the total hours reported, they match. If this became add-on staffing, you note that the total direct care staff is 1.4, and the total staffing resources here is 2.8 FTEs. So where did the 56 hours go? It went down to the box down here, which identifies and tallies all the add-on hours reported above. So the status of position is very important. The LPN, 56 hours of add-on. We will change this back to direct care for this example, and you note that the LPN hours here went back to 0, but the DC staffing tallied up to 2.8. So you can select the manager and report your house manager hours here. And maybe they work 9A to 5P, and they might be Monday through Friday. Now the total hours reported moved to 3.8 FTEs, but you'll note that the total direct care staff remains at 2.8. The reason for this is that when ALTR rates were developed and the program models were identified, the house management has been tied into the rate. So they do not add to the FTE count because the FTEs are tied to the number of direct care staff you have at that site. And I'll just give you one more, a little bit of add-on. Say an RN comes in 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. once a week for 4 hours. And you'll note that the RN hours as add-on, as negotiated with your area office, are reflected down here. There's 2 more sections to the schedule. The site vehicles. These are the quantity of site vehicles that you have at the site. Now, this is a 4-person home, and I happen to know 4-person homes, maybe intermediate models, would have 1 passenger van that's built into the rate. But the site might have also a wheelchair van. You can do it that way. If the vans happen to be shared, please make sure that you communicate that to your area office so that they know how to appropriately allocate the resource as it is being shared between 2 sites. So the wheelchair van, passenger van, minivan, or sedans that are reported here, please use whole numbers. So if it's just 1 sedan, 1 minivan, 2 wheelchair vans, and if they happen to be shared, just communicate that with your area office, and they'll be able to appropriately adjust the units, particularly tied to this site. And lastly, the consultants at the site. You may have an RN, clinician, or PhD consultants that are being utilized at the site. Here, just simply type in the hours. It might be just an hour, or it could be 2. And the clinician may likewise be only 2 hours a month, which would be 0.5 a week. So when we say per week, certainly we want it to be reflective of the actual amounts you put in there. But if it's more done on a monthly basis, it may be some portion of that. In which case you have 1 hour PhD dedicated to the site per month, 2 hours a clinician per month are dedicated to the site. And then per month for the RN, you would have 8 hours. But on a per week basis, because this is a weekly schedule, we're looking to capture those resources here. My name is Chris MacArthur from DDS. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any further questions, please speak with your area office contact, and they should be able to provide you guidance if you so need it. Thank you very much, and have a good day.